the children of Israel, and then they cry unto God. That was 30 years, 430 years later, and God came and rescued them through Moses. And when he rescued them, he brought them through the wilderness to Canaan. So when they reached the wilderness, God spoke with Moses at Mount Sinai. At Mount Sinai, that is when the law was given, and then the Leviticus started. So we started from Exodus 19 upwards. All right. Okay, so that's the Genesis. So there God said, I'll come and dwell with you. And if I come and dwell with you, these are the things that you're supposed to do. And these are the way your priests have to worship me. And these are the things that you ought to do. So when God come and embodied himself in you, he will surely come and give you laws. He will give you laws and ordinances. Things that you used to do, you do them no more. Now you are under the grace through the law. Not written on tablet, but written on the heart. So that is when now your conscience will activate it unto God, not towards the flesh. So let's look at the 5 reasons why you need to understand that Leviticus is a book that you must study. Because Leviticus talks about holiness. Okay, it explains more about holiness. Holiness, 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 holiness. It teaches how the people of Israel has to be holy. It teaches how the priest has to be holy. It teaches how the places are holy. So in this Christian walk, we always talk about holiness. Okay. Number 2, clean. It will help you to explain what is clean and what is unclean. Okay. By the new covenant, you are not configured to this world because everything is sanctified by law. But it will help you understand what God mind was for giving them the law of what cleanliness. And then number 3, it talks about sacrifices. The sacrifices were holy gifts presented to the Lord. The sacrifices were holy gifts presented to the Lord. We have burnt offering sacrifice. We have peace offering sacrifice. We have meat offering sacrifice. We have sin sacrifice. We have trespass sacrifices. All these ones have what? Meanings. Okay, all these ones have what? Meanings. All these ones have meaning. Then we have special sacrifices. Okay, the week of the living and stuff, right? And then number 4, talk about atonement. The day of atonement, chapter 16 talks mainly about the day of what? Atonement. Okay, this is the time that we reconcile with God. So they bring 2 animals, goats and sheep, and then all the Israelites place their hands on the goat and then confess all their cases on him and sack him to the wilderness. And then from there the lamb is being sacrificed. That's what Jesus Christ called the lamb of the world that came to save us. Because in the tradition, the lamb are sacrificed for the atonement of the sin of the people. And then finally, Leviticus talk about priests. Why priest? Because Peter talked about that we are now a priest. Okay, First Peter talk about that we are now a priest in the holy nation, a royal priesthood. So we are supposed to offer sacrifices, worship to God. So you must understand how the priestly kingdom works, or what the priesthood works. Then you can understand that your bodies are priest. Then you don't have to carry yourself about anyhow. So these are the 5 main reasons or 5 main things that Leviticus spoke about. Hallelujah. So we talk about holiness, we talk about cleanliness, we talk about sacrifice, we talk about atonement, and we talk about the priesthood. Okay, the priesthood. Now let me talk briefly about why people don't really like reading Leviticus. Okay, because most of the time the message of Leviticus has been misunderstood. Okay, the message and the purpose. Because people say we are not under the law, so they don't even take their time to read. And people don't even know the law. They just heard that we are under grace. Through faith we are saved. But what is the law? I said the law is 613 laws that God gave the Israelites. Okay, why were they given the law? They were given the law so that they know that there's a God among them, that will not be familiar with God, and they were given the law that when they go to the promised land, they will not mingle themselves with the evil practices that's going on there, or the reason why those people are being taken away, or by God for them to come in. So that is the main reason why they were given the law. And God, with his own mind, knew that they can't obey the law. But the law of the spirit, or the kingdom laws, when you redeem anybody, try to give the person law so that the person can be obedient to you. The person will not go back to his old lives again. Hallelujah. So people misunderstood the law. And then number 2, people also don't enjoy the book. Why I talk about sacrifices, how he talks about coming slaughter animal, how he talks about priests, how what they are going to do with Aaron and stuff. Okay, because of the sacrifices and stuff, and how the book is complicated, people don't actually read that book, right? But I'm bringing you a good news, is that Leviticus is a book that needs to be read, because for you to be holy, and for you to be able to follow your conscience, you have to have witnesses, which is with the scripture. Otherwise, the enemy, the devil, the Satan will come and deceive you. Amen. So studying Leviticus will give you a deeper devotion to God. You understand that what God did for us on the cross is much reference. And then it gives you a more relevant and a pleasing worship of God. A pleasing worship of God. And then you have a better understanding of what the daily Christian living. Daily Christian living. Better understanding of the daily Christian living. Alright, so these are some of the reasons that people don't actually read Leviticus. So with this in mind, the structure is that it talks about all the laws. Okay, I've spoken about that. So okay, now let's move to the outline. What you expect from every chapter. Okay, what you expect from every chapter. Then when you start reading Leviticus, take this tip, listen to it. After listening to it, then you start reading, and then you enjoy it much more. All right, the outline. The outline are divided into four outlines. Okay, so one talk about the laws and sacrifices, then the ordinations, then the laws on purity, and then God requirement for holiness. Four outline. Okay, 4 points. Okay, now let's look at number 1, the law on sacrifices and priesthood. The law of sacrifices and priesthood. This one starting from chapter 1 to 7. Chapter 1 to 7. You talk about they have the laws on sacrifices and priesthood. How Aaron and his sons have to offer the sacrifices, and then the sacrifice that they have to offer. There you see, when I read, you see burnt offering, you see peace offering, you see grain offering, and you see sin offering, and you see trespass offerings. Okay, these are the offerings. All of them have their own meaning. Okay, surrender, devotion, fellowship. In the New Testament, okay, these are all things that you come across. And then that one too is broke down into 2. Okay, you have instruction for different offerings. That's as I mentioned. So verse 1 to 6 all talks about the different offerings, and then chapter 6 to 7 talks about the regulations for the priests, the regulations, what they are supposed to do during the sacrifices. Then the second one talks about ordination and ministry of the priest. So now it is now Moses that will ordain the priest, as how we also ordain our pastors now. So chapter 8 to 10 talks about ordination and the ministry of the various priests. So 1, consecration of Aaron. Aaron is the first priest, the high priest. And then dedication of the tabernacles. After the Ozilio and Co has completed the tabernacle, it has to be dedicated. So the rules on how the tabernacle has to be dedicated, that is chapter 9 chapter 9 talk about the rules for the education of the priest. Then chapter 10 finally talk about warning about what? Immoral priests. So God in his mind anticipated that some priests, even him dwelling among them, will surely misbehave. So they are giving them laws on how to keep themselves holy to God. Now the third one talk about the laws on purity. That's chapter 11 to 16. Chapter 11 to 16. Okay, chapter 11 to 16. So talk about clean and unclean animals. Clean and unclean animals. You all remember when God appeared to Peter in Acts chapter 10, he said what? Eat, kill and eat. And God said, and Peter said, I'm a Jew, so I eat not anything unclean. And God said, call not what I clean unclean. Alright, so that was talking to us as what? So you see that this one is also symbolic, so that when he comes to them, they'll understand the importance of what he's doing. So clean and unclean animals. Then B, look at purification for unclean. That's chapter 12 to 15. Purification of what? Uncleanness. So in case somebody comes into contact with unclean animal, what are the requirements for it? Purification. Okay, so here you understand the importance of the blood, the importance of what? The blood, and then water, the cleaning or the purification agents, right? Then the last under part 3 talks about regulation for the Day of Atonement. Okay, the Day of Atonement, where the whole Israelite have to reconcile to God. So you see, bring 2 animals, 1 ram, 1 lamb, and then 1 goose. Then all the Israelites will lay their sins on him. Then they would drive him out to the wilderness as a scapegoat. And then they will slaughter the lamb. That's what Jesus Christ called the lamb. And then finally, we understand, or we spoke about God requirement for holiness, chapter 17 to 27. Okay, so let me break that one down. Chapter 7 talk about the reverence for the blood, the slaughter and all the bloods. We talk about ordinances to the Lord's command. Okay, obedience to the Lord's command. Okay, obedience, you have to obey the Lord's command. So that's why the regulations also proceeded. I am the Lord your God. Keep all these commandments. Okay, and then 23 to 22 talk about appropriate worship, how the priests or how the Israelites have to worship God. Okay, and then D, making a keeper of vows. Okay, that's it. If you have vowed to me, I am God. So when you vow, you endeavor to keep all your vows. So that is a brief outline about the book of Leviticus. So you know that Leviticus has 27 chapters, and it's a whole book about the laws. Okay, that's why the first law was given from Exodus chapter 19, and the totality of the laws is what? 613, and it's called the Torah. It's called the Torah in what? Hebrew. Torah means the law. It's not the laws. The law. That means all of them is what? One. That's why when someone break one law, they are breaking all the laws. It's the law. Amen. So God condemned the law. So God expects all of them to what? Obey all this law. And it's not easy. Hallelujah. So we thank God for a nice learning time today. And then I believe that you have gotten something. And then you have developed interest for the book of Leviticus. Okay. So you go there, you go and read. Go through it. And then you love it. So we are going to a short prayer. We are thanking God that He has given us time. He has exposed our mind to the book of the law or Leviticus. Grant us power and grant us the strength and then grant us the tenacity that we can sit and learn your word. Katoni mini ata kalura basoki dibi isa lada do seveli imbrandalada Nakoni ambado rakata labatu sekele imbrado shekeni miliata ilabada labada 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 ilabada